in a hidden corner of the British countryside. There is a place where wildlife thrives. In the north of Cornwall, tucked away off the River Camel, lies a haven. Walmsley Sanctuary. Walmsley offers wildlife a rich variety of habitats, from wetland to woodland. As winter approaches, the reserve becomes a vital refuge for migratory travelers. Neighboring Walmsley is the Camel Estuary, where saline and freshwater meet. There is an abundance of food. When the tide goes out, huge mudflats are exposed, an all-you-can-eat buffet for thousands of birds who burrow for the small creatures buried in the mud. These bar-tailed godwits have traveled from the Arctic to overwinter here. They dig with a tried and tested technique which loosens the mud with small taps instead of compacting it. As the tide turns and begins to consume the land, the birds are pushed out of the estuary. They seek refuge further inland at Walmsley Sanctuary. From waders to wildfowl, all are connected here. This is a place alive with coexistence, conflict, and cooperations. Europe's largest wader, the curlew, has migrated from the far north of England to spend winter in Cornwall. It is distinguished by its curved beak, which can be up to 15 centimeters long. In the winter, they gather in large flocks, which means there is more competition for food. There are thieves hidden among the group. Stealing a worm is often easier than finding your own. As a result of the mild winter, a male common frog emerges early from his deep slumber. He leaves the safety of his woodland home, now exposed on his journey to find a mate. On his mission to find a female, the frog has to get past a little egret. These solitary hunters use their feet to stir up the mud, disturbing any creatures living there, such as freshwater shrimp. Not every strike is successful. Luckily for the frog, the little egret is looking for other prey today. Now he can find a female. The male will wrap his front legs under the female, using the pads on his legs to keep a strong grip. It is vital that he stays in position to fertilize the eggs as they are released from the female's body. The male has to be patient and persistent in order to pass his genes to the next generation. The spoonbill is a rarity at Walmsley. This bird may have come here to seek refuge from the rising storm. Preening is an essential part of every bird's daily routine. They clean and remove parasites from their feathers, which must be kept in prime condition for flight. This is not easy to do in the strong winds. A winter storm is approaching. Walmsley shelters the animals from the worst of the storm. After the storm passes, a flock of black-tailed godwit, who made the long journey from Iceland to spend the winter here at Walmsley, begin their search for breakfast. This bird is struggling to survive around the world because they need a wetland environment to breed, which is rapidly declining. Over many years, hunting and the destruction and draining of their home has taken its toll. There are now only 60 breeding pairs in the UK. Walmsley Sanctuary still provides the habitat they need. This species of godwit can be distinguished by its long, straight beak with a black tip. Also, as their name suggests, by their black tail feathers. A black-tailed godwit preens to change its winter plumage to something a bit more colorful. They preen out all their dull grey winter breast feathers to reveal a deep orange. This change to summer plumage is essential for them to be well camouflaged in their summertime ground nesting sites. The fertilized frog spawn has been quietly developing. Frog spawn is made up of thousands of individual eggs, each egg having a small tadpole embryo surrounded by nutritious jelly. Each tadpole slowly eats its way out of its cocoon. The survival rate is harsh. Out of every 2,000 eggs, only 5 will become frogs, with predators such as newts that seek out the bounty of eggs. They continue their search outside of the egg for food, such as algae and water fleas. Surviving the odds, the next generation of frogs are almost free to explore Walmsley Sanctuary. Spring is on the horizon. Tranquility reigns over the reserve. The golden plover is an incredibly social bird that form magnificent flocks. Having overcome winter, they refuel for the last time on the estuary before migrating to northern Europe to breed. Thousands of individuals join to create one. Beautiful murmurations and shapes fill the sky. They leave Walmsley Sanctuary behind them until next year.